Imagine riding a vintage bike that draws attention wherever you go. A free-spirited ride with a vibe full of adventures. It feels as if the bike knows the road better than you do. You must be thinking it could not be a normal bike. Yes, you're right, because it was given birth by a big and influential company. Location is Birmingham Town, England, during the middle of the 19th century, when the Industrial Revolution was at its peak. In between the clanging of metal and whistling of steam from factories, groups of gunsmiths decided that it was time to explore other avenues. Who knew that this decision would give rise to one of the most legendary motorcycle manufacturers in history, BSA, Birmingham Small Arms Company. A company that began manufacturing firearms changed gradually until it became a shining star that many riders around the world fell for. In today's video, we are going back in time to learn about the history of BSA motorcycles and discovering their unique characteristics, bohemian style, and why these machines are still the talk of the town decades later. The story of BSA motorcycles is one of continuous innovation, determination, and the classic British character. But the interesting part is the company didn't kickstart with the roar of engines, but with the blast of shooting weapons. Known simply as BSA, the Birmingham Small Arms Company was established in 1861. It was initially established to manufacture firearms, not motorcycles. High demand for firearms during the Crimean War led to gunsmiths forming this company right at the industrial heart of Birmingham, England. The members may have never guessed that their first steps into precision engineering and metalworking would ultimately lead them into the motorcycle manufacturing industry. The BSA company was founded in 1861 when 14 gunsmiths from Birmingham came together. These men had an idea, joining hands to make weapons using their abilities effectively. For years, BSA just focused on making guns, ammunition, and bicycles. However, as technology advanced globally and people started demanding more motorcycles, BSA found another opportunity to diversify itself even further. The firearms manufacturer BSA thrived during the second half of the 19th century, its rifles and pistols being famous for their dependability and accuracy. As the new century approached, however, and the Boer War was drawing to a close, demand for military firearms dropped. Recognizing this challenge, BSA's leaders discerned that they would have to branch out in their line of business. They later discovered that expertise related to the manufacturing of firearms, such as precision engineering, high-quality metallurgy, and mass production processes, is applicable in multiple ways. For the BSA, this was a significant turning point since it meant they could now start experimenting with the inroad automobile industries. The 1903 transition was the first one of its kind that saw BSA try out producing bicycles. It may seem like a sudden move from firearms to bicycles, but it was simply the next logical step in their evolution. The intricate metal frames and precision parts of bicycles were not so different from weapons, which were their traditional products. As such, engineers at BSA began making human-powered two-wheelers right then with company logos attached. These early models soon gained a reputation for quality construction, which helped BSA establish itself in this new market. With this accomplishment, BSA decided to take another step by getting into motorized bicycles, something bigger than they had done before. First announced in 1910, BSA's maiden motorcycle prototype was a humble creation, a 3.5 horsepower engine packed within a reinforced bicycle frame. At that time, it was far from the powerful motorcycles that BSA would eventually become renowned for. But this represented an important stepping stone in their journey. Engineering during the early 20th century saw rapid technological changes, hence BSA engineers were ambitious to realize anything new about motorbikes. With the outbreak of World War I in 1914, motorcycles became very useful to the military as they acted as messengers and reconnaissance machines on the battlefield. This demand could be readily met by BSA given its growing expertise in motorcycle production. During the war, thousands of motorcycles were supplied by the company to Britain's armed forces, thereby establishing itself as a dependable and tough brand. Especially popular with soldiers and Marines, M20 models were famous for being rugged enough to withstand even the worst of conditions. At the end of the war, BSA resumed making motorcycles for civilian use, and they quickly became popular with the general public. During the 1920s and 1930s, BSA was experiencing booming growth and inventiveness. They launched numerous new models over which they continually honed their design and extended sales reach to a larger market. By the 30s, not only a national but an international brand as well, BSA traded its motorcycles across Europe. Bike enthusiasts looking for something more than road bikes began noticing BSA's motorcycles during this period in the 30s. The speed-craving bug bit them. This was evident in how they designed their racing cycles then. It was a response to build faster, stronger machines that set up victories on race courses like those that happened later on in life. 1938 was a year of great importance to BSA because that was when the BSA Gold Star was introduced. The Gold Star became an instant legend due to its velocity, reliability, and power it possessed. This was a game changer as it got its name from a gold star that riders who were able to make a lap at Brooklands racetrack at over 100 miles per hour were awarded. Today, we can only reward them with a complimentary tweet or an Insta-like. It consisted of an incredible engine with only one cylinder, hence light and nimble enough while providing power and speed. For BSA, this was a golden age. It became the biggest motorcycle producer worldwide, with tens of thousands being made annually. The Gold Star was about to be joined by other popular models, such as BSA Bantam and BSA A10, both doing very well commercially too. During this time, the firm earned itself a good name for making dependable bikes that are high-performing. It had a single-cylinder engine that made it a favorite among both racers and enthusiasts as it perfectly blended performance with classic British motorcycle design. As BSA entered the 1940s, the world once again plunged into warlike turmoil. The Second World War saw BSA return to military production on an even larger scale. During this period, more than 125,000 motorcycles were produced by the company for the British Armed Forces, which included M20 models that became synonymous with wartime battles. M20's structure guaranteed resilience in all kinds of harsh situations, starting from the deserts of North Africa to the muddy fields of Europe during combat times. While taking part in wartime services was enormous, motorcycles symbolized both resilience and dependability, therefore raising further its reputation as a manufacturer by BSA. In the 1940s, BSA had become the world's largest manufacturer of motorcycles and held this position for many years. The company's prosperity was based on a wide range of motorcycles that met the needs of all segments of the market. BSA had something for every rider, from a small, affordable Bantam to a high-performance Gold Star. One model in particular, the Bantam, became popular with buyers after the war, especially at times when people were still struggling because it was so expensive to live in Britain during the late 1940s and early 1950s. The Bantam was produced as part of war reparations using a German design. It was a light two-stroke machine that could be used by new riders due to its cheapness and simplicity. The 1950s were undoubtedly the height of BSA's prosperity. Not only did they dominate the UK market in this period, but also penetrated international boundaries. The firm consequently extended its operations, buying other motorbike marques and expanding its manufacturing capacity. BSA motorcycles were selling in all parts of the globe, and over time, this brand became synonymous with English engineering excellence. The 1960s brought new challenges as Honda, Yamaha, and Suzuki, among others from Japan, entered the market with modern, reliable, and affordable motorcycles. It became difficult for BSA to keep pace with rapid technological advancements and changing consumer preferences. For example, models such as BSA Lightning and Thunderbolt continued to be produced by the company, although they lacked the innovation or appeal Japanese motorbikes had. However, while BSA's bikes still commanded respect for their build quality and performance, they now seemed outdated compared to the stylish modern machines being produced in Japan. Over the years, there has been an increasing interest in vintage bikes such as those by BSA. The revival of this trend has obliged the company to contemplate relaunching pursuits based on electric motorbikes and contemporary design, leaving the historical background of the brand intact. For BSA, that shift to electric vehicles is a big one that allows for its redefinition towards the 21st century.
We've set up a technology center in Coventry, which is catering to the electric development as well. We hope to have both of those tied in so that we could start producing these motorcycles in the UK.
The company had grown into a very massive, unmanageable conglomerate that made it difficult for it to respond fast to the changes in the market. In contrast, other contenders were quick on their feet and full of new ideas, while BSA lagged with its decision-making processes at times being torturous. This resulted in a steady decline in the 1960s as the company failed to modernize its product line and react to changing markets. One of BSA's last-ditch efforts to regain its foothold within the market was through the launching of BSA Rocket 3 in 1968. It was a three-cylinder motorbike designed to compete head-on with Honda's CB750, which had redefined motorcycle performance and technology at that time. However, it was too little too late by then. Even though it had its good side, Rocket 3 could not undo the Japanese determination for domination throughout this period. During this time, the firm lost more ground for itself than ever before. In a bid to forestall failure, BSA went through a series of mergers and acquisitions. The company also purchased some other British motorcycle companies such as Ariel, Sunbeam, and the more illustrious Triumph. The aim was to bring together the British motorcycle industry so that it could present a stronger united front against the Japanese competition. Nonetheless, these acquisitions did not resolve the underlying problems that BSA had been facing. These brands were poorly integrated into the BSA portfolio, resulting in confusion and inconsistency in products offered by them. Far from rejuvenating BSA, these acquisitions merely compounded its problems. By the early 1970s, BSA was on the edge of bankruptcy. Its factories were outdated, its product range was not competitive, and the financial system was chaotic. Consequently, in 1971, BSA had to merge with Norton Villiers, another troubled British motorcycle manufacturer at this time. This resulted in the formation of Norton Villiers Triumph, MVT, aimed at salvaging what remained of the British motorcycle industry. However, there were numerous challenges right from when the merger took off. The cultural disparities between them as well as their continuing money issues made NVT never work effectively as an integrated firm. One of BSA's major problems was its slow pace of innovation. While the Japanese companies were coming up with their new technologies and styles, BSA was left behind due to old-fashioned ways of manufacturing and a lack of investment in R&D. This led to low market share growth and financial instability. To combat these issues, BSA made several attempts at resuscitating its business. From the 1970s to the 1980s, the company went through different ownership changes and restructuring processes. Through this, it hoped that introducing new models and strategic partnerships would give a fresh lease of life for revitalizing the brand name. However, ongoing money challenges as well as market forces often ruined such efforts. But still, the legacy of BSA remained strong despite everything. For instance, motorcycle enthusiasts and collectors continued to extol some iconic BSA models, like the Bantam and Gold Star motorbikes manufactured by this firm. The Bantam particularly became an emblem of affordable transportation in general, helping strengthen BSA's reputation as a maker of dependable family transport bikes, as well as practical motorcycles in general. Nevertheless, by 1973, it was clear that the end was near. All these efforts to save the business had fallen flat, and production was eventually halted. There were no more of the once mighty BSA, which used to be the largest motorcycle manufacturer in the world. For further insight into BSA's revival as well as its challenges, we should look at the broader picture of today's motorcycle industry. The global motorcycle market has shifted considerably over the past few decades due to various economic, technological, and cultural aspects. For BSA, this means getting back into a market that involves not only competition with established brands, but also adaptation to customers who have changed in their expectations and tastes. One major trend in the motorbike sector is the growing demand for electric vehicles, EVs. With increased environmental consciousness and strict emission rules, many buyers are shifting towards electric motorcycles. However, to maintain contemporary relevance and stay true to iconic gems such as their motorcycles, BSA will need to be imaginative within this space. As such, considering aesthetics, functionality, and brand essence are crucial factors before transforming it from gas guzzler engines whose existence is founded on power into electric drivetrains. BSA could also seize this opportunity to become a market leader in green motorcycles by developing electric motorcycles. Modern technology can be used alongside engineering principles by BSA to create electric models that are both environmentally friendly and provide the excitement expected of their brand by bike enthusiasts. This could involve focusing on high-torque, innovative battery management systems and lightweight materials that enhance performance without compromising on the classic BSA aesthetic. Additionally, there is a need to consider the demographic changes among motorcyclists. Although older riders who experienced the heydays of the company dominate its customer base, BSA must find a way of attracting younger riders who may not be conversant with its past achievements. The modern youth cherishes connections, smartness, and flexibility in their machines. With Bluetooth connectivity, GPS, and changeable riding modes being incorporated into new bikes, BSA can take advantage of emerging trends such as these. Inclusion of these features will therefore make it more interesting for consumers interested in technology when they ride on a bike made at BSA. Moreover, with the advent and growth of adventure bikes, there is one area where BSA could exploit this opportunity. Adventure motorcycles have become popular due to their ability to be used on or off-road. BSA's engineering expertise, as well as its historic past associated with tough and dependable motorcycles, makes it an ideal entrant in this area. Developing adventure bikes that incorporate modern adventurous capabilities with classic designs, heritage, and functionality can appeal to a market that esteems them highly. BSA's revival in the modern era isn't merely an acknowledgement of history, but a clever move to win over a niche of the motorcycle market that is increasingly drawn to legacy brands with a contemporary twist. Reintroducing the Gold Star was a genius move for the firm because it appeals both to older riders who still remember the original and younger enthusiasts who love classic looks. The new BSA Gold Star does reference its predecessor visually, but it remains very much a 21st century product. It features an engine capacity of 652 cc, single-cylinder water-cooled power plant that can deliver approximately 45 horsepower. This modern-day motor not only gives better overall performance, but also complies with today's strict emission standards, which would not have been possible on the original Gold Star bike model. Finding the balance between its historical trajectory and modern riders' expectations is one of the problems BSA faces in its attempt to revive its fortunes. For instance, Triumph has successfully merged old designs with new technology to make brands such as Bonneville, while Royal Enfield has done so too with their Classic and Interceptor range. BSA's success in differentiating itself in this crowded market will be based on how it plays on its legacy, yet brings something unique to the market table. This is a good starting point if attention can be placed on Gold Star. However, they should expand their product lines to accommodate other segments, like young people who want cheaper versions. Apart from the fact that BSA will increase its family of products successfully, it will also rely on how well it can create a community around its brand. Motorcycle brands are more than just machines. They represent a way of life with certain values and beliefs. In its prime days, BSA had a vibrant community of riders, clubs, and racing teams. It is important to reconstruct this community in the present time when digital engagement matters as a must-have criterion. Already, the company has commenced on this journey by interacting with fans through media sites, as well as arranging events commemorating the history of the brand. The global motorcycle market is also moving towards sustainability, with electric vehicles gaining in importance. BSA has acknowledged this tendency and announced that it is planning to create electric motorcycles, which will be important for its long-term survival as a brand name. Electric motorcycles need to remain true to their brand of performance and design while still being electric. These new types of motorcycles are usually non-intrusive rides that are calm and sophisticated. How can BSA maintain the brute appeal of its traditional bikes with an electric option? Maybe torque, handling, and distinct design features could be some focus areas. Besides, the return of BSA has consequences on how it can grapple with challenges arising from its history. Over time, the motorcycle industry has witnessed various transformations, such as developments in the materials used, technological advancements, and changes in manufacturing techniques that have altered the way motorcycles are made and sold. In so doing, BSA should adapt while maintaining its core values for growth into becoming a renowned firm globally. This involves ensuring high levels of artistry or workmanship through reliable performance, as well as making sure that any bike carrying the BSA logo deserves to be part of its heritage. The customization market is one possible area where BSA could grow. There has always been a strong connection between custom motorbikes and the motorcycle culture, and brands that make bikes easily customizable usually get a lot of support from their clients. The Gold Star's classic design, characterized by its simple lines and minimalist approach, seems well suited for customization. To enable owners to personalize their bikes and make them unique, BSA needs to provide an assortment of accessories and reconditioned parts. Another part of the company's history that remains important is the role of BSA motorcycles in both world wars. During World War II, thousands of motorcycles were manufactured for the British military by BSA, including the M20, which was one of the most famous military motorcycles during this period. These motorcycles were known to be durable and reliable, hence creating a legacy that went far beyond warfields. Looking forward to reestablishing itself in the modern market, such strength and reliability are some brands that can leverage. Motorcycling became a sport and a pastime due to the crucial role BSA played in motorcycling development during the post-war period. This turned it into an ordinary activity as well as motivated new riders through the brand's active participation in racing, such as Isle of Man TT. The thrill of racing, camaraderie among riders, and freedom that came with riding made BSA popular. Going forward, there is a need for the brand to find some of this spirit again while marketing and developing its products. BSA isn't just about motorcycles, it's a brand that has sustained itself through decades of change, trouble, and competition. Looking into the future, BSA will take along with its teachings from its past, backing from its committed followers, and hope for newer bikes that will still make riders passionate around the globe. However, this is not where the story of BSA ends. The love and dedication towards the restoration of BSA motorcycles kept them alive among motorcycle enthusiasts for a long time. Collectors viewed iconic models like Gold Star and Bantam as treasures, while the name BSA remained synonymous with the British motorcycle's golden age. Eventually, in the 21st century, there was a return to popularity of BSA motorcycles once again.